Hey guys, welcome back. Aurabomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck profiles. Thank you guys for all the support and these live matchups we've been doing lately. So today we're going to be doing our live deck profile over Zoroark Greninja. I have a lot to say about this deck, so stick around. I think the deck has very strong, is in a very good position post format. Sure, Buzzwole is still as strong as ever, but with the Greninjas helping your Zoroark get those Okos that you need, as well as having the Mew tech and stuff like that, I feel like this deck is gonna be very strong post rotation. Not post rotation, post Forbidden Light. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Of course, we are playing standard 4 Zoroas, you know, Zoroark deck 4 Zoroas, and then of course 4 Zoroarks. Very standard, very strong. Zoroark's a good card. Not too much to say about it. Trade is super necessary. Right as beating is really strong, combined with things like Mew. Right as beating is our main attacker in this deck as well, because we now have all these damage boosters that can get you Okos, combined with Greninja's abilities and Kukui's and choice bands and all that stuff like that. So Zoroark, main attacker, and we are pairing it with a 3/3 line of Greninja. We are playing the 70 HP ones only because I randomly like to attach a water energy to it so that I can use its attacks later. So I like having the 70 HP one, which means you can't just lay and knock me out like you would with the 60 HP ones, and also keeps the attachment on it. You know how it is. Now Frogadiers do have the ability to put 2 damage counters anywhere on the board when you evolve from your Frogadier in your hand, just like the old Golbat does. And then Greninja is just like the old Crobat, where you can put 3 damage counters on the board whenever you evolve into it. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And Greninja has a couple of cool things about it. 230 HP is nothing to sneeze at. It's actually a really good HP number. As you saw from the video, it's just out of range of Duskmane, which was kind of big, because if my opponent didn't whiff that turn, I would have lost that game. But it also has 2 interesting attacks. For a water and a DCE, you're hitting for 110, and you may shuffle the Pokemon back into your deck if you choose, just like Kartana GX. You don't actually have to, but it is a pretty solid option, because that means you can reuse the whole line. And then you have the GX attacks, which puts 130 damage on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Now, it's only the bench, so that's something to keep in mind, but still a very strong card. One thing I do want to consider putting into this deck is maybe remove one of these for the Shadow Stitching Greninja, because I usually use the Frogadiers anyways, and Shadow Stitching Greninja is just really strong. Like, I think it'd be crazy in the Malamar matchup, the Ultra Necrozma Malamar matchup, but we'll just have to see about that. I'm not too sure how I feel about it yet, because I really like using the abilities to make sure that that Zoroark takes knockout, but it is something I want to test. I haven't tested it yet. That and Aqua Patch, which is not in here. I really do want to put Aqua Patch in, but I just have a difficult time choosing what I want to cut as well. But yeah, anyways, so that's pretty much the Pokemon. We also have stereotypical 2 Lele's, and of course the 1 Mew. That way we can take knockouts on the likes of Buzzwole, on Fighting Weak Mons, without the need for any of this other stuff. Which is good, because that means we can use our Greninja to set up the board on different knockouts for future turns, while also taking Okos with the Mew. So of course, Mew's super important. I do want to play 2 in here, but right now I only have the 1. But yeah, Pokemon line is very self-explanatory. Greninja is very strong. Less for an attacking reason and more for its abilities. Its abilities are what makes the whole deck work. We're going to go over the items next. Very stereotypical items as well. In this deck, we do have 4 Ultra Balls, as you do. No Evo Sodas in this deck like I would like, but it's fine. We have 4 Puzzle of Time as well, because it's a Zoroark deck. One thing I wanted to try in here was Timer Ball, but whenever I tested it, I was just having a bad day with the flips. I never landed it, so I decided to cut it all together. I feel like the deck didn't really need it. The deck runs really smoothly without it a lot of the times. That and Evo Soda. I want to play Evo Sodas, but I wouldn't use the abilities of Frogadier and Greninja. It would just be for Zoroark, which, granted, it's always nice, but deck space is still something I have to consider. When you're putting in a 3/3 line of Greninja, you have to make room for, you have to cut out 9 cards, you know what I mean? So it is what it is there. I am playing 3 Field Blower only because Garbodor does, you know, shut down the deck. So we want to make sure we have outs to Garbodor and Parallel and stuff like that. So we are playing 3 Field Blowers. 2 Stretcher. Now this is something I might cut, is one of the Stretchers. I do think you need at least 1, just because but you do want to make sure you're constantly getting your Greninjas. But one thing I do a lot in this deck is actually trade away my Greninja line, and then I can just stretch it for it back into my hand later. Sometimes I trade away the whole entire Greninja line and I just put the whole Greninja line back into my deck. I do find that is something I do very often because a lot of resources you don't want to lose when you're trading, so having the ability to trade away your Greninjas and get them back later is really strong, which is why I played the 2 stretcher. But I could see the argument for cutting down the stretcher into 2 count. Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like the video. Do not forget to like the video and answer the comment question of the day. Actually, answer the comment question of the day. This is a good time for discussion because this deck and the Naga deck are both a work in progress because we have not tested the decks as much as I would like. I still have a lot of ideas, so let me know in the comments down below, what do you think we should change about the deck? Or if you like the deck the way it is, just tell me I love the deck the way it is, I can't wait to try it, you know, things like that. If you do answer the comment question today, you have a chance of winning a couple of codes. So thank you for the support, guys, I appreciate all of you. We are playing 2 Enhanced Hammers because Enhanced Hammers are strong. They're just really good. Getting rid of strong energies, getting rid of DCs, things like that. Nothing too new there. I am playing 3 choice bands. One of those things I want to play 4 of, but for the time being 3 will work. I mean, with puzzles we should be pretty set. And 1 devoured field. It does give you that 10 damage boost on your Zoroarks. You could also play the other stadium, that the double-sided one that does 10 more damage for darks, but 10 less damage to metal. Obviously, like, it was unintentional, but in the matchup, I wouldn't want the other stadium. I just feel like this one's better because metal is still a thing in the format, and it's pretty solid right now. So that's why I don't play the other stadium. I play devoured field instead. There's no real good dragon types. Obviously, there's alternate Necrozma, and giving it a 10 damage boost, it doesn't really matter if you do. I feel like it's never gonna actually come into play, so I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, those are the items, tools, and stadiums. And next we have the supporters. Very stereotypical. I am playing 2 bridges. I want to play 3, but I'm pretty content with 2, honestly. We'll play 2. I'm playing 2 ends. Ends are good. Ends are solid. Ends are strong. I'm playing 3 Cynthia. There's a truck outside, so forgive me for all the noise. And then one Sycamore. I'm choosing to play the 1 Sycamore. I know a lot of these Greninja decks are cutting Sycamore altogether. I still like the Sycamore. I feel like this deck sometimes need those really aggressive power plays to find your evolution pieces to take those knockouts. So sometimes you really got to find that stadium. Sometimes you really got to find that choice band. Sometimes you really got to find your Greninja, Frogadier. So having the Sycamore, the 1 of Sycamore, is still pretty good for those power plays. I am playing 3 Guzmas. I like the Guzmas a lot. Guzmas are just one of those cards where, like, you have to play them because if you want to win the game, you want to make sure you have those Guzmas in the deck. I hate the idea of going below 2. I really always want to play 4 Guzmas in my deck. But for the time being, I'll just stick with the 3 Guzmas because we have the puzzles. It's not a big deal. We have 2 Kukuis. I am playing 2 of them in this deck because the Kukuis are super important to get those knockout numbers. Also helps you draw a little bit more. I mean, I like playing a trade, but not. Kukuis are pretty important. If you don't play Kukuis, you're going to whiff a lot of knockouts. So that's why I'm playing 2. Because if one's prize, I want to make sure I have the other one around. And of course, for the 1 of supporters, I am playing 1 Mallow. Because Mallow gets you whatever you need, really, and then 1 Acerola as well. Sorry for the glare and stuff like that. We're recording this at a weird time of the day, but the 1 Acerola does put things back in your hand. Sometimes you can't Oko the Zoroark, sometimes you can't Oko the Greninjas. Putting them back into your hand is very, very strong. Also, those you put resources back in your hand, like DCE, like Choice Band, things like that. There's not too much to really talk about this deck. One thing I do want to try in here is maybe even a 1 of Aqua Patch. Because we're only playing 2 water energies, right? And you can trade them, and then you can Aqua Patch them, and then you could set up a Greninja theoretically in 1 turn. So I do like the idea of taking in 1 of Aqua Patch. So I might try that. As far as the cuts go, I guess I don't know, what do I cut? I was talking about what I would cut earlier, right? Maybe I'll try a stretcher. Maybe I'll try cutting out 1 stretcher and putting in an Aqua Patch in its place. I actually kind of like the idea, so I'm probably gonna do that. For the future, do some deck testing with it. At the same time, I'm also probably going to cut out 1 Greninja GX and put in a Shadow Stitch Greninja as well. But those are just ideas I have right now. Like, once again, whenever the set officially comes out, I'll be playing all these decks on PTCGO, and we'll do updated versions, and those will probably all be tested on stream before I actually upload them. So you know how it is. You know how it is. I'm pretty hyped. Forbidden Lights got me actually super jazzed up because there's all these cool new archetypes coming into the format, which all look really, really promising. Greninja looks promising. Naga, I'm not super confident in, just because if people are playing Mew EX for Buzzwole, Mew EX also Okos Naga. So just because people are teching for Buzzwole, I'm afraid of the same text that people use to beat things like Naganadel. But overall, like Naga is just a cool card, and like these Ultra Beast toolbox decks look really fun. Of course, there is Ultra Necrozma, which I think is very strong. Obviously, I do like to mention this because a lot of people like to mention nonstop in the comment sections about these deck profiles. Like, this deck loses to that, this deck loses to that. Every deck loses to something, bro. Like, there's no perfect deck right now. Like, even decks that are super broken, like Zoroark, like Greninja, not Greninja, like Buzzwole. Buzzwole loses to just Mew spam, and Zoroark loses to fighting. Like, everything loses to something. You can't be mad about that. But the point is that these decks can survive on their own. And then I think Zygarde as a very decent tier 2. Anyways, regardless, I'm pretty hyped about the format. This is gonna be the deck list. Let me know what you guys think about Zoroark, Greninja. Let me know if you have any other ideas for Zoroark, and let me know what decks you want to see me profile next. As of right now, I have no plans to show any more decks that aren't like, no more new decks, I guess. All I want to do now is like update old decks and then do matchups between these new decks and updated versions of the old decks. So let me know what particular matchups you guys want to see really bad. Somebody commented in my Ultra Necrozma deck that they really wanted to see Ultra Necrozma versus Weavile, and I was like, ooh, that sounds tough. Ultra Necrozma versus Weavile, yikes. I don't know, maybe we can put in some text, maybe just like Oko them with Celesteela a bunch, who knows. Regardless, let me thank you guys all for the support. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Remember, if you drop a like on the video, answer a comment question today, you have a chance of winning a couple Ultra Prism codes, and eventually, once Forbidden Light comes out, you already know we're doing some Forbidden Light codes. I'm pretty hyped about it, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.